Hello everyone and welcome back to My First Mon. I'm one of your hosts, Jack Martin, alongside the Pokemon Master, Christian Buckley.
Hello Jack, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Back again talking some Pokemon. We missed last week, but we're going to make it up this week with a couple gyms this time. A little different.
We got two. We're going the distance. We're like Rocky.
For sure.
Yeah.
You ever see all the Rocky movies?
No, actually. I've only seen two of them.
I watched... Oh, wait, which two?
The original and then Rocky Balboa from like '05.
That's a good one.
Oh, well, I've seen Creed also. I loved Creed. Creed counts, right?
Yeah, 100%. Those are probably the best, the two best. Creed 1 and 2.
Yeah, I still have to see the second one, but I loved that first one.
I watched all the Rocky movies in preparation for Creed 2. They tail off, after probably the third one, and then picks up again with Rocky Balboa, a nice little, sort of nostalgic, but fresh. It's like The Force Awakens, essentially, for Rocky Balboa. And Creed's great, too.
And you know what's funny?
But
talking about Rocky, the underdog, right? I found, I don't know if you can see it here. Oh, you can. On my shelf, I'll send you a picture of this later, but on my shelf, I had a mini Pikachu figure from when I was younger, and that came from a set. It was Ash from Gen 4. It was a figure of him, a Pikachu figure, and a Raichu figure. So now I found the Raichu. So it's right next to Pikachu. And then, Rocky, Underdog, that episode of Pikachu not wanted to turn to Raichu. I just thought it was timely.
That is very timely. Glad to hear it.
Always comes back to Pokemon.
For sure. But enough about Rocky. This is My First Mon. If you don't know, I've never played a Pokemon game until last year when I played through Pokemon Blue, and Christian played through Pokemon Red to jog his memory. But for this season, we're both running through Pokemon Crystal, and usually each episode covers one gym, but like we said before, we're covering two gyms this episode. The show releases every Monday on podcast services like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can also find the video version on YouTube. Shout out to all the people in the comments. Every video, we'd love to see them. And you can also subscribe to JoyClicks over on youtube.com/JoyClicks. We're getting very close to 2,000 subs, so we would appreciate you going over there and subbing to that channel. We also want some community involvement with this particular show. In that form is going to be in fan art, and you can send any of your fan art submissions to myfirstmon@gmail.com. Finally, we also have a Patreon. A special shout out to our Patreon producer, Chris Sakis. At the $1 level, you can get early access to episodes, which usually is around Saturday instead of Monday. And at the $2 level, you can name my Pokemon. Christian, before we get into it, do you want to give us some trainer tips from the people out there?
Of course. Now, Jack, you call me the Pokemon Master. Clearly, I'm not, because Gen 2, I don't know much about. So, like with Season 1, we're taking community tips, tricks, corrections in the comments every week, and on the JoyClicks Discord. So, why don't we run through a few that we got going on now. Angarl, back again in the comments, says that, because again, I was confused at least, about Zephyr, the Zephyr badge. Zephyr is the ancient Greek word for wind, so makes sense for the flying gym.
Nice.
Got some clarification about Dark type, since we were talking about how it's just for edgelords. Dark was introduced to combat two powerful types introduced in Gen 1, Psychic and Ghost. Psychic is weak to Dark, and a Dark Pokemon is immune to all Psychic type attacks, which is pretty huge considering how big Psychic can be, right?
That's like normal and Ghost.
Yeah, kind of.
Sounds like. That's cool.
It only has two weaknesses until Gen 6, which are Bug and Fighting, so if you do get a Dark type on your team, be sure to watch out for Bug and Fighting. We also have your team update on typing from Angarl. We can run through that. So as of last episode, you have Quilava, who is Fire, Wooper, who is Ground and Water, Graveler, who's Ground and Rock, Bellsprout, who's Grass and Poison, Jigglypuff, who's Normal, and Paris, Grass and Bug.
Cool.
There's no way for you to get Graveler's evolution, since you're on an emulator by yourself. Unfortunately.
That is very unfortunate. He's just like an amorphous blob to me.
And Angarl, we asked for suggestions about fixing your Bellsprout that got screwed over by the daycare. Said that at level 23, Bellsprout will learn Acid, but we have a little update about Bellsprout this week.
Sure do.
So we'll get to that. Xenon Kowalixo, I think. Name looks familiar. It might be a Season 1 vet. Losing moves.
Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Yeah. Losing moves must just be a glitch or issue with the emulator, because this is my least familiar gen of 1 to 3. I've never encountered this in breeding, and I don't see any mention of this online as a specific oversight or problem with Gen 2. So that might just have been a little mishap.
Yeah, that's bothersome.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good. It was an interesting issue to run into. So I guess that adds some flavor to this season.
Yeah. Also wanted to shout out there that similar to Bellsprout being able to learn a move at level 23, I think that Angirl said, Bellsprout would learn Razor Leaf at level 37, which is a good grass move. Okay. And then in terms of other grass types, Hoppip, which is one we were debating last week on if you wanted to get a replacement. Regal Beartick and Definitely Not Pedro both clarify the Amnesia discussion. Amnesia raises your special defense by 2 stages. So I was thinking of the move Disable move that just allows you to make an opponent not be able to use a move for the rest of the match. Amnesia is just a special defense buff. And yeah, Chris Sakis in the comments, Patreon producer, did want to say that we might have been overselling the Ghastly battles. Remember how you said you were like in some sort of a bug?
Yeah.
If you had stuck with it in the fight and used up all of your PP, you would have reverted to Struggle, which would have resolved the battle one way or another. Which is interesting, because I completely forgot, if a Pokemon wipes all of their PP, they'll just like flail around and use a move called Struggle, which does some damage.
Here's the thing with that, and I saw that comment, and I did appreciate it. The thing with that is, that would be a lot of moves to do.
Yeah.
And at that point, in my mind, I'm like, this isn't worth it. I'm going to restart wherever I'm closest, wherever my save is, you know? So, yeah, I felt the need to reload a save at that point.
You're absolutely correct, because like there's some Pokemon that have like the special defense buff moves that have like 40 PP, you know? And they'd be doing nothing at one point.
Real. Exactly. That would be at least an hour to get to that point, you know what I mean? At that point, it's just a waste.
Yeah, so that's what we got for clarifications. That's the trainer tips for the week. Shout out to Neon Rider in the Discord as well, giving some great commentary on thoughts for the episode. So
yeah, I always like reading that. It's sort of their live impressions of the episode as it's going, as they're engaging with it. So yeah, it's very nice to see all the comments that we all get. But Christian, shall we get into this episode?
Hit me with that party.
Sure. We got a level 27 Graveler. Got my level 21 Wooper. I'll say this, probably right now, probably my favorite new Pokemon is Wooper. Yeah.
Nice.
Cute little devil.
Have you looked up Quagsire?
Maybe.
Can you do it right now? Can you just look up Quagsire? I just want to see your reaction, because I don't think you'll come across one naturally. I want you to know what that cute, adorable Pokemon turns into, and get your brutally honest reaction.
Stand by. Here we go. Okay. He looks like a seal.
Yeah, I can see
kind of. He looks super derpy, as Wooper does.
Yes.
Which I appreciate. Let's do a Quagsire / Wooper comparison.
Okay.
I wanna take a look here. You see, it's still Wooper for me.
Yeah.
It's still Wooper. He has those little weird ear things. I think Quagsire's a little, like, in terms of like the character design, is just a little basic. Yeah. Whereas Wooper is like exciting, and like he pops up in the intro to this, and it's like, who is this guy? And I think that really sold me, is when he popped up and I found him, and I was like, I kind of want him in my party as my water type.
Yeah, I respect it. And you're keeping that Everstone on him still, right? He still has that?
Yeah, sorry,
Nice.
Quagsire. Not this time.
Well, now we know.
But yeah, exactly. I got my level 22 Jigglypuff, who at this point, Christian, totally useless. I don't use.
Okay.
I got my level 20 Bellsprout, who again is useless. We'll get there. I got my level 23 Cool Lava, and I got my level 6 Paris, who is, holds my cut at this point. That's all it does. So yeah, that's my party.
Nice.
As we mentioned last episode, Christian, I had a grass type issue. My Bellsprout, utterly useless, thanks to the daycare removing some special grass type moves from Bellsprout.
Right. So we're leading with this.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so excited.
This is the first thing I do is I go to is it the National Forest, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I go there and I was like, maybe I'll do the Sunkern business. So I catch a Sunkern and I'm looking at it and it doesn't have any special moves at this point, and I'm like, honestly, I'm pretty close to Violet City. That's where I caught my Bellsprout, like to the left of it. So I might as well just go back and re-catch a Bellsprout. So I go to a grassy area over there. I catch this Bellsprout, but here's the thing about this Bellsprout. It like flashes or it like sparkles every time I pull it up. What is the deal with this?
So first question, Jack. Did you record this or no?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
I have some footage of me using Bellsprout later in this episode.
Okay, that's perfect. But here's the thing. I've been playing Pokemon for like just about 20 years, right? Like I've been playing it since I could hold a Game Boy. In my entire life, I have never encountered, at least to my knowledge, I've never encountered what is referred to as shiny Pokemon.
Oh, okay. That's what we're going with here. Shiny Pokemon.
You found a shiny Pokemon.
Hell yeah, dude.
Which is an incredibly rare spawn. Different color scheme. So it looked...
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
Yep.
I was like, why did it looked like a little more brown than green.
Yeah. So you have a shiny Bellsprout. And honestly, that is incredibly lucky for you. Never let go of that thing, because the thing is, you loved Bellsprout in Gen 1. You were so upset about your ruined Bellsprout for Gen 2, and now you have a shiny Bellsprout. That's insane.
What a comeback. Now, can you explain, like, does a shiny Pokemon have, like, better attack? Does it have better defense? Better stats in general? What's the deal with these things?
So, completely honest, just because I've never ran into them, and I don't shiny hunt, because, like, trying to hunt shiny Pokemon is ridiculous. People spend hours. They reset the system like 500 times to get like a shiny Totodile out of the gate. Like I've never
starters.
messed with that. Yeah, you can do that sometimes.
Whoa.
But yeah, it's just incredibly rare. I'm gonna look up what the shiny spawn rate is for Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
So you can realize just how exactly lucky that was.
It's funny because not only do I have a shiny Pokemon that I caught, but I also have a Dunsparce, who is currently in my PC. I'm not really using him, but it's just funny that like I didn't realize that I encountered two of these extremely rare either types of Pokemon or Pokemon in general. So yeah, it's weird. It's nice though. It's cool.
So
to be a part of like that sort of rarity.
Yeah, dude. And like I said, for how long? I probably have like over 800 hours across every single game. Like just combining all of them together, not once.
Mm-hmm.
And again, maybe I ran into one as a dumb kid and I didn't realize that it was a shiny Pokemon, but to my long-standing knowledge, never happened. So here are your odds of getting a shiny Pokemon, apparently, from a quick Google search. The base chance of a shiny Pokemon is 1 in 8,192.
Oh my god.
I don't know what percent that is.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, it is far less than 1.
Sure is.
So congratulations, Jack.
Thank you.
Honestly, you deserve it. After that mess of a Bellsprout scenario, after your incredible journey being welcomed into the Pokemon community, you deserve this gift.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I was just about to say, I feel like for all the trouble I went through with my Bellsprout, I feel like this was warranted, and
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy that Bellsprout is back, and I'm happy that it's a special Bellsprout.
Yeah, a soul for a soul.
Oh man, we're going Thanos on this, huh?
Well, funny enough, there's a picture of Thanos right next to my face on the videos.
Oh, there you go. That's hilarious.
But yeah, that's excellent. Congratulations. You did text me about it, so like I
Yeah.
knew going into the episode, but I tried to like maintain. I tried to hold back how I was freaking out. I was like, oh, it actually happened.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear the audience reaction.
Oh,
to
me
this
too, me too.
because I'm sure it'll be quite excited.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I deposit my Jigglypuff because, like I said, I'm not really using it, and it's a normal type, and I like having a type advantage, and normal types really don't have one. So just deposit that, deposit the useless Bellsprout, and I withdraw the shiny Bellsprout and Muscle. Muscle comes in and out of my party quite often, but I do like Muscle, so he's back.
Reliable.
Yeah, and I go left from Ecruteak City, and I'm going along, I think, Route 38, and Entei appears, and almost
Excuse me.
yeah, yes, he
Okay.
appears, and I'm like, okay, this thing's a level 40, not gonna fare well here. Instantly flees,
Yes.
gone. Why?
So again, similar to like Abra. Remember, you ran into Abra. You wanted to trade an Abra for somebody else. There are certain Pokemon, specifically for the random spawn legendaries. If you don't take care of them, if you don't put them to sleep or something in that first move, they'll run.
Damn, should have done it.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think you would have caught them because
Yeah,
like
probably not.
I think you would at least need an Ultra Ball.
Probably.
I didn't think we'd run into this so soon again, but I believe Neon Rider mentioned that there is a way to sort of track them, but it's pretty cumbersome. So.
Okay. Will this Pokemon, legendary Pokemon, will this reappear?
Yes.
Or is it like Gen 1? Okay, so it will reappear.
Yeah, so the ones that spawn randomly in the wild will reappear, right? Like, it's the ones that have a specific sprite on screen you interact with that are the ones that are make or break.
Okay, well that's good. Good to know. I'm gonna take a photo of my notes here, Christian.
Okay.
And I'm gonna send it to you for your live reaction. Because I'm running into these new Pokemon, these Gen 2 Pokemon, more and more as the game progresses.
Right.
And I keep writing them down in my notes, and as I write them down and as I read them, it's been like a day or two, and I don't recall what they look like.
Okay.
So I've been, to the best of my ability, I'm not tracing in this situation. I am drawing them as I see them, and they're not good. They're not good drawings, but I'm drawing them regardless.
Well,
so I write down here, Skiploom is one of them. That one I think is okay. That's an okay drawing.
Yeah.
It's fine. I compared myself to, in Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur Morgan.
Yes.
Like draws some stuff in his journal, and he's actually a very confident drawer. But then later on in the game, spoilers for a 2-year game, but come on. You play as John Marston, and he does something similar, but he's a terrible artist.
Yeah.
And I am
That's good.
more like John Marston.
Yeah. Well, to your credit, I could recognize both of them without reading the notes.
Yeah. Yeah, so the next one up is Corsola.
Yes.
So, if you want to throw that into the episode, by all means.
Oh, I absolutely will.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. I'll send some more along the way as well.
Nice.
But yeah, running into some new stuff. I ran into a Flaffy. No way am I drawing that thing.
Flaffy. Flaffy's the sheep, right?
Yeah, yeah. I got the impression it was like a sheep or like a dog type Pokemon. I couldn't really tell, but it was quite intricate. But my Bellsprout, I'm trying to level up at this point because I found it, I think, at a level 6. So I'm like, and my party's in the 20s at this point. So I'm
true.
Pretty much exclusively leveling up my Bellsprout. Getting into like level 15 with Sleep Powder, level 17 with Poison Powder, I must say, Sleep Powder, that's the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is probably the best move I have in my whole party.
Mm-hmm.
So, happy with that.
It's very good.
Yeah. But at this point, I'm basically just fighting a bunch of trainers along the way on Route 38 and Route 39. But we come to a particular area, and I'm going to try my best to do an Ash Ketchum impression. And I wrote down a faux Pokemon the animated series episode name.
Excellent.
And I'm going to say it.
Please do.
Bear with me. The mishap at Miltank Farm.
That was good.
That's the best I can do. But yeah, we come across all these Miltanks, which are basically just cows.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is funny. And I go into one of like the stalls, I guess, and there's a Miltank that's not feeling well, and it requires a bunch of berries. So I give it like 2 or 1, and nothing happens. And I keep going back when I find berries, but I assume it probably needs like about 10 for anything to happen, or something like that. But that's pretty much all that happens here. Is there anything that you remember about this particular area of the game?
No, I don't. I remembered it when I played because of the remake, Soul Silver. I remember the farm, but no, I don't remember a specific thing with the Miltank. I think it might be a specific berry. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's an amount or if it's a specific berry you have to find in the wild. But
okay.
Yeah, trainers, listeners, let us know, and we'll bring it up next week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wonder what will happen with that, if anything. But yeah, basically just going through fighting trainers. Bellsprout had the opportunity to learn Stun Spore. I figured I probably don't really need that,
right.
So didn't learn it. And we get to Olivine City, known as the port closest to foreign lands. Now, if you remember from the Miltank situation, that milk from Miltank goes to Kanto. Nice little shout out.
Oh, nice.
So this is a port to sort of international waters here, which I appreciate.
Yeah. This
but yeah.
This is like one of the first times they really bring up Kanto outside of Oak, right?
Yes, I want to say. I think so. So it's cool to like get those references.
Yeah, it's neat. It's sort of like, it's interesting because like as the generations go on, they more and more try to represent like analogs for the real world in a way. But Gen 1 and 2 are very much just like islands of Japan.
Right.
Where like Gen 4 is maybe like it's very snowy, so maybe like Germany in a way. I don't know, but like Gen 5 is basically New York, like America.
Cool.
And Gen 6 is France, and obviously the recent one, Gen is 8. That is UK. So
right.
They really like to globe trot, but it's interesting. I always thought that Gen 1 and 2 are pretty much like the same. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we get to Olivine. Johnny's there, and I don't fight him, but he tells me that the gym leader is at the lighthouse. Also calls me super weak, so being Johnny, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, another instance where the gym leader is not present at the gym.
They're all slacking.
For real. They're, it seems like they have, like, missions that they're attending to.
Yeah. I mean, the anime deals with that, right? The anime, it's like the gym leaders have a role in their town outside of just being the gym leader, right?
Yeah, more than just leading the gym. They're more of a figurehead of the particular area.
Yeah, like Brock is, like,
That's
huge
cool.
in that community.
Yeah, dude. I remember he was, like, raising, like, his family. Like, his dad left or something.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. So, yeah, shout out to Brock. I get a good rod at some point, and I also get strength. Of course, I can't teach that to anyone yet. Or I can't use it outside of battle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say muscle should be able to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think I can teach it. I just can't use it.
Gotcha.
But go to the lighthouse because that's where the game's telling me to go. Essentially, at this point, Bellsprout is a Weepin' Bell. Welcome to the party, pal. Oh yeah. And then basically fighting through trainers, and then eventually I get to Jasmine, who's the gym leader. She asked me to get medicine for her Pokemon. And this is all the way in Cyanwood.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, Cyanwood.
Cyanwood. Yeah. So have to cross some dangerous waters. But before that, Christian.
Okay.
We go to the battle tower.
We do.
And I get wiped, like just trounced.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I can't do like a level 20 battle. I think you have to like do the battle that you're like slightly under. So I had to do a level 30 challenge, and I just got destroyed.
Yeah. This is again a staple. Eventually, the battle tower or some sort of like gauntlet that's available in the game.
Mm-hmm.
This was repeated in multiple generations, but the battle tower, again, it's not something I mess with a ton. Like, my post game for Pokemon is normally just catching my team and catching the legendaries, and it kind of always has been. But people love the battle tower. People really love the gauntlet, the challenge floors, stuff like that. So,
yeah,
that's basically what it's for.
Is it just for fun, essentially?
Kind of. I think you get experience out of it.
Mm.
So, you can train a little bit, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll have to check it out later when my party's a little bit more up to par.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get some cool rewards from it, too. So, it's worth it if you feel like your party's capable.
Yeah, maybe. But I take Route 40, which is the water path.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I learn Acid for Weepin' Bell.
Mm.
And I get rid of Poison Powder. Wasn't really using it all that much.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Acid's great. It's a great move. It's a great normal move.
I think it can burn, can't it?
I haven't encountered that.
Okay.
But
I think
potentially.
I think Acid is a poison type move that can leave them with a burn.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
I can fact check that, but Acid's a really strong move, and having Weepin' Bell have Acid is solid. I think that's probably going to be sticking around for a while for you.
Yeah.
I have to guess.
Yep, so basically traversing through these treacherous waters, eventually get to Route 41, and I'm going to send you another photo right now of some drawings that I do. I figured this would be a fun little addition along the way. I run into a Mantine, which is a manatee.
Yes.
No, not a manatee. Excuse me, a stingray.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's another name for a stingray?
Manta ray?
I guess.
Manta
what killed
ray?
Steve Irwin? Manta ray?
Maybe. I'm thinking of Man Ray in SpongeBob.
Yeah.
So.
Also run into a Remoraid? No clue what this thing is.
So Remoraid, actually, if I'm remembering this correctly, you know how Mantine has the small fish underneath its wing?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that is a Remoraid, so I think you can catch it by itself.
Oh, okay.
So
That's cool.
Again, sort of just feeding into the idea of a ecosystem, because you know how like a lot of whales or manatees have bottom feeders, essentially, that like they're small fish that rely on the leftovers of the bigger thing.
Okay.
So I think that's what's going on here.
Right. I write down here, this is just a huge labyrinth. I have no clue. There's these, I think it's called the Whirl Islands, and I can't really explore them all that much because there's these like whirlpools that I can't access. So what's the deal with this?
So the whirlpools will come into play later. You'll be able to get a move that lets you traverse through them, as far as I know. Because here's the thing, Gen 2 and Gen 3 get weird with their surf stuff. Like, there's a move eventually you can learn called Waterfall that lets you ride up waterfalls. And I think Gen 3 added a move called Dive, which lets you go underwater.
Mm-hmm.
And I think One of the others should allow you to get past whirlpools later in the game, I think.
Okay.
So I think you might be coming back here.
Yeah. This is where I was figuring that Gyarados might be.
Okay.
Am I onto something here?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Because I know you said I could catch him at some point in this game.
You can. You will know. You will know in the story when you can catch a Gyarados.
Okay. I guess we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
Not now. Maybe it's one of the legendaries. Because everyone's talking, and I eventually get to Cyanwood City, and everyone's talking about stuff. Of some sort of Pokemon being at the Whirl Islands. So.
Yeah.
I start up at the top. There's a Pokeseer, and it basically just tells my Pokemon's history. It's like where I got it, what level it was when I got it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Not a lot, though, from that. So. Someone gives me their Shucky, Christian.
Yes.
Or is it a Shuckle and it called it Shucky?
It is a Shuckle they nicknamed Shucky.
Okay. They described them doing this with another Pokemon to someone with like long hair that came through, but I think they said they robbed him, and I assume it's Johnny.
Yes.
So for whatever reason, he's like, I was robbed. Here, take my other Pokemon. It's like, what? What's? And then eventually I go back to him and he's like, oh, have you leveled up my Pokemon? Can I have it back? And I was like, no, it's mine now, dude. Sorry. It's a cute little turtle.
Shuckle's interesting. Shuckle does not evolve. It is what it is. It's some people can build out a Shuckle that is a defensive tank. In Sword and Shield, right? I decided to fight one of my friends recently, and my entire team of 6 Pokemon that were all leveled very well could not defeat one Shuckle at the front of his party because the defense was just too good. It was built out in a way that I could barely do anything, and it wiped my entire team.
So wait, he had the Shuckle or you had the Shuckle?
He had the Shuckle. I could not get past it. It was a wall. It was a wall higher than the Night Watch wall. Like I could not even attempt. Every single hit did nothing.
Yeah.
I think attacking it did damage to myself. So like he built it out in a way that it was a tank.
He seems like someone who played Modern Warfare 2 and used the one-man army grenade launcher setup, where you would just shoot noob tubes, as it was called, across the map, and then just respawn with more ammo.
Maybe.
Sounds like that kind of move. Don't appreciate that. I would have been very upset if I were you, Christian.
I was frustrated, but I was just impressed because like Shuckle, never would have expected that on a Shuckle.
That's a good point. It is quite the strategy.
Yeah.
And you have to applaud him for that.
Yeah.
But, oh well. So I do like a weird thing. I know there's a gym here, and I was like, I didn't go to this gym first, technically, so I go back to the lighthouse, and I give Jasmine's Pokemon their medicine that they need. I get the medicine at Cyanwood, yeah. And then we go straight into the Olivine City Pokemon gym.
Nice.
And Jasmine is the steel-clad defense girl.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I know, and of course uses steel Pokemon, which is new to this gen, is that correct?
Steel is new, yes.
Okay. Weak to fire,
yeah.
Weak to ground, weak to fighting. And at this point, I write down, I'm all set.
Yeah, dude, you are.
And the first thing I noticed about this gym, no trainers. No trainers in here.
Yeah, this is similar to some, like, I'd say similar to Blaine, where, like, well, Blaine had the quiz, so maybe that's not correct, but, like, it's a gym where, again, the prereq is mostly the side quests, right? And I do think that is more unique to this game than Red and Blue ever had, but it's something that they don't bring back a ton, but when they do, I love it.
Yeah. So we get into the fight here.
Let's go.
And I'm thinking I'm all set. I throw out Muscle as my first guy, because I was like, I guess I'll, like, level him up, I have the type advantage, so I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Jasmine's throwing out a level 30 Magnemite. And I'm like, hold the phone. That's 9 levels higher than I'm at right now. I think I'm like a level 21. And it one hits Muscle. instant faint. I was like, okay, I see what's happening here. It's gonna be an issue, perhaps. And then she paralyzes my Quilava. I'm like, okay, let's stop the presses real quick. All right, let's take a break, okay? But I bring out my Graveler, and he comes in clutch with Dig, of course. The most OP move of all time.
You love to see it, truly. I love that Geodude was like, I need this as like just a solution for this first gym, and then Graveler's just becoming an MVP. I love that.
He really is. And it's like I'm building that sort of utilitarian party that I discussed earlier in this season, where it's just like I need certain Pokemon for their certain moves, or their certain type advantages. And Graveler, it has been, like you said, one of my MVPs. So happy to have him on the team.
Yeah.
But then we move to Steelix, who comes out.
Yes.
One hits Graveler. What's going on? So we've got some issues here.
So I think because Graveler is rock ground, I think Steel has an advantage over rock.
I think that might have been the situation.
Also, Steelix, another case of a Gen 2 evolution of a Gen 1 Pokemon that you know. Do you have a guess?
Cool. Steelix. Gen 1. It would not be a Steel Pokemon, or maybe it would be now.
No, it's not a Steel type, but it evolves into one. Think of the design. Think of like the size of it, how its body's broken up, how its body looks like a bunch of objects, and then the head is another one of those objects, but it has a face on it.
It wouldn't be Magnemite?
No.
I can't think.
Onyx.
Onyx, really? Oh, someone did say earlier, like an NPC was like, "Oh yeah, Jasmine uses like Onyxes and stuff." So, okay. Is that so? Steelix is new to the Onyx line.
Yes.
This gen. Interesting. Well, Steelix is just messing me up, and it's a problem. One hits Graveler. I give a super potion to Quilava, and I bring out Weepin' Bell, and that's one hit as well. So my party is just not doing too hot right now. And she uses a Hyper Potion as I'm doing some damage with Quilava. So my efforts are all for naught, Christian.
Yeah. There's no greater insult than a gym leader using a Hyper Potion on you. I hate it.
That's quite insulting. So I revive Graveler because I think I have like 2 revives, so quite dangerous. Need to carry more of those around, especially for gyms.
They're expensive.
Give him a super potion. They are expensive. Give him a super potion. Graveler's using Dig twice. Do some damage, and then I get one hit again, and I'm done. Bring out my Wooper. Do some damage. Get some. It gets Wooper down to like lower health, so I swap him out for Quilava. Quilava faints. Wooper coming in clutch though with Surf to defeat Steelix.
Awesome, good job.
Thank you. But at this point, party's not looking too hot.
Yeah, and that's just the first Pokemon, right?
That was the second.
Oh, second. Sorry.
Out of 3, so we're on the last one. Brings out another Magnemite. Confused Wooper. And I write F. Huge F. But very quickly, I'm not confused anymore.
That's good.
And I took half its health with Surf.
Yeah, dude.
So at this point, I'm like, Surf is coming in. It does. It's the most probably useful HM I've encountered.
Oh, absolutely. I think Strength is a close number 2. So if you end up giving it to Muscle, do not feel bad. Strength is a solid move.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I give it to Jigglypuff later on, just, as to hold on to it, but
right.
I might give it to Muscle just to have in my party, because I don't like taking up unnecessary slots for Pokemon. And I don't always use 4 moves for Pokemon. I usually stick to like 1 or 2. So I might do that. But yeah, I took half its health with Surf, but I'm running out of health items. I'm running out of revives. At this point, I don't think I have any left. And at this point, Christian, we are down to 3 HP.
Oh man, on Wooper.
Not looking good. Wooper is He's blacking out here at this point. He can barely see. But what he does, he throws in some move. I forget what it was. And he defeats Magnemite. With his last breath, his dying breath, he takes down Jasmine, the great Jasmine. Mm-hmm. The great steel defense, whatever it was, Jasmine.
What a David and Goliath story.
Bro, I'm telling you, Wooper really is coming to bat for me. He's not only the cutest Pokemon that I've encountered in my life, probably. I'll say it.
Okay.
He's also a great Pokemon. He's got some great moves.
Yeah, and I mean, you already have an affinity for water Pokemon, despite your love for fire attacks, right? Like, you had... Squirtle was your ride or die Gen 1, right?
Yeah, he was.
So, he lives on through Wooper.
Absolutely. And that's a great way of putting that.
Yeah.
I like that. But I get the Mineral Badge. I didn't write down anything else. A certain Pokemon up to level whatever I can use now. So
yeah, it doesn't matter. In the middle of the game, these things don't matter.
Yeah. You know what it is.
Yeah, because the thing is, they jump so much that, like, by the point you're getting the mid-game ones, it's like, oh, up to level 60. It's like, great. All my team's like level 30 max. Like,
yeah,
I'm a ways out.
That too. I'm like, that always makes me like hesitant. Like, am I supposed to have Pokemon up to that level at that point? But at this point, I know that, not necessarily.
The best way to judge is just the Pokemon that you're encountering, like, around that. That's the metric.
Yeah, that's a good metric you pointed out like a couple episodes ago. So I've been keeping pretty much around there, so that's good. I go back to Goldenrod because I remember they had a bunch of different drinks that serve as health items. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I wonder like what the pricing difference is between like a super potion, which does 50, and fresh water, which does 50. A super potion was, I think, around 500 or something like that. And fresh water was 200. And they do the same thing. And lemonade, which does 80 HP, was 350. So, with my wealth that I've accrued, I buy 17 fresh water and 14 lemonades.
Dude, that's really interesting because I never do that. But apparently, I've just been a sheep this whole time. It's
the move. Now, you can't buy them in bulk. You have to do one by one by one, which is annoying, but it's worth it because you're not spending all that much. In fact, you're spending like dirt to get like these incredibly useful items that are necessary. And then that way you can spend more money on like revives, which I do. I get some revives.
Right.
Because I was like, I should have used more of those or had more of those to use.
Yeah, revives are tricky. Revives, you always ask like about how many should I be carrying. Like, I think for the price they are, I don't think you ever need more than like 6 to 10 in your bag.
Yeah, I try to keep like 5 on hand.
Yeah, that's a solid number. That's fine.
Because I figured like I'm not going to use all of those in one encounter. And if I use like 3 or 4, then I'll, refill. But
yeah.
So I go back to the water routes to get back to Cyanwood. And so I wrote a question here, like, how do I get to the islands here? And you pretty much already answered that. So that's taken care of. And I go back to Cyanwood. I remember there being a Pokemon like sitting there. And it's Suicune.
Oh.
But it runs away.
Nice.
Like, I don't even like encounter it in a battle. It just like flees instantly. Similar to how it did when I encountered it back in Ecruteak City.
Yeah. Like, just the concept of the beasts roaming around, I think is interesting. But like, if you're working it into the game in a way that's just like it's very similar to other Pokemon, it's a little frustrating. But with the case of Suicune, who is overworld, it's a little different, right? Like, and I have to wonder if the reason behind that was because Crystal has Suicune on the cover. So I wonder if that's why Suicune gets like the elevated treatment in that way.
Would that be different in Gold and Silver?
Gold and Silver, I think in Gold and Silver they're just randomly in the wild after you run away, after you encounter them the first time. Because the thing is, I know in Gold or Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it's more similar to this, but yeah, I can't speak to the original release, but the fact that Crystal comes out between the originals and Soul Silver, I would bet to say that the remakes take inspiration from this version, which is the goatee version almost.
Right. Now, as you were speaking, I was thinking of the naming.
Mm-hmm.
Gold and Silver. Their game of the year, as you will, is Crystal, correct? And Ruby and Sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
Theirs is Platinum?
Emerald.
Emerald. Whose is Platinum?
Diamond and Pearl.
Okay, I feel like Platinum should have been the name for this game. Gold, Silver, Platinum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Crystal seems kind of out there. Crystal probably would have been better suited with Diamond and Pearl.
Diamond, Pearl, Crystal, yeah. Diamond, Pearl, I could see Diamond, Pearl, Emerald, maybe. Well, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, I think makes the most sense, because they're all three gemstones.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think you're right. If you swap Platinum and Crystal, I think it makes more sense.
Or, like, do Crystal, Pearl, and Diamond be the game of the year. Something like that. It just seems a little off now that I'm thinking about it. Not that it really matters at all, but...
I mean, you make a good point. The naming conventions for the third game stopped making sense after a while. Like, they did Black and White, and then they did Black and White 2. They didn't do Gray. They did X and Y, and then they never did a Z. So
yeah, that's weird. So that gen never got its Game of the Year edition, as it is.
Yeah, and then Sun and Moon got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which is much more like Black 2, White 2. Except they weren't sequels. And we've yet to see if Sword and Shield gets a third version. I don't think they would, because we're going the route of DLC expansions. So interesting.
Weird. Yeah, the naming conventions, as you say, are pretty strange. But regardless, just drop something. We get back to Cyanwood, and Ucine is there. Am I saying his name correctly?
Ucine. Sure.
Let's go with Ucine. It's like Eugene, but different.
Ucine.
And he wants to battle me, but he's like very positive. He's like, man, you're a great Pokemon trainer. I want to battle you to like prove my skill. And I'm like, that's very positive of you. Not a lot of that going around in this game from Johnny particularly.
Yeah.
But his party is Drowsy, Haunter, and Electrode, and I honestly have no real issue with this battle.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he did.
Yeah, he's super nice. I write down he's a nice dude. Yeah, and so, go for it.
What do you think of the idea of a quote-unquote rival, or just a recurring character that wants to battle you that isn't mean-spirited?
I love it. It's very positive.
Okay. How do you think you would feel if that was your main rival for the game? If you didn't have this evil person that's like, I'm gonna beat your ass, dude. Like, like if it was just like, hey, you know what? You're a great trainer. Let's fight.
I would prefer that.
Really? Okay.
I get that it's like the classic, there always has to be like an antagonist. But like for a game as wholesome as Pokemon, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't take that route. Being like, I'm trying to be the best, and so are you. I think we can both exist in this world, and whoever comes out on top will be the best. I'm kind of surprised that that wasn't the way, now that we're speaking about Ucine versus Johnny or versus Ash. So yeah, I think I would have liked that better. I think it would have made the experience slightly more positive for Crystal specifically, because Johnny is just a terrible human being. Let's just be honest with ourselves.
Eventually they start leaning more into that. They lean into more of like, it's your childhood friend and they're going on the journey at the same time as you, and you just keep running into each other. And a lot of the community hates that.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think of some analogies like that. The only thing I can think of is Ryuko from Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a stretch.
Yeah, that's a little more antagonistic.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. But
yeah, I'd say more like, yeah, what is a good example here?
I'm trying to think of My Hero Academia. But again, that's Bakugo, who is very much Johnny.
You know what? It's like Deku and Ida.
Yeah, Ida is a great call.
Yeah, like they're friends and like they respect each other, but they're competitive, right? Like they still want to try and be better than the other, and like they push the other one to be better.
Yeah, Ida says in the tournament arc, he's like, "Look, we're friends, but at this point, like you're my rival, and I'm gonna, just like you, I'm gonna try to be the best." So yeah, and that's a relationship that I love in that show, and that would have been cool to see here, with the rivals. But yeah, reading up all about this, not reading up, but learning about the leader here, and he uses fighting Pokemon, who are weak to psychic Pokemon. I got this Drowsy in my party, or in my PC.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll try to level up Drowsy. And I'll hit you with my current party right now. I don't know if I've updated you, but here it is right now. It's Weepinbell, Quilava, Graveler, Wooper, Drowsy, and I have Jigglypuff, who I give strength.
Okay.
So I'm like going in the waters, trying to like level it up, and I'm like, this is kind of slow going. I guess I'll go through some trainers with Drowsy before getting to Chuck the leader to sort of throw him out, throw him back, level him up that way. And at this point, like it's slow going, and I'm like, is this really even necessary? Like, do I have to grind all the way to do this? And I'm realizing that Weepinbell, who I'm throwing out, who I've been using a ton, basically like I've been using Weepinbell nearly exclusively this play session, is doing a lot of work. And I'm like, that may be because of its sleep powder move. That might have a lot to do with this. And acid, that's a great combination. So at this point, I'm like, honestly, I don't really want to even use Drowsy, because Weepinbell has been getting through the trainers like with relative ease.
Right.
So that's what I do. I get to Chuck, and he's got 2 Pokemon. And instantly, Christian, I get Vietnam flashbacks to Miltank, and I'm like, oh no, what have I gotten myself into? 2 Pokemon. Again, I was like, with Whitney, I was like, the hubris. 2 Pokemon, I'm going to eat your lunch, bro. Right. And then, little did I know, Miltank came to party. Turns out I was allergic to dairy. But with this time, I'm like, all right. Yeah, for real, dude. This time I'm getting scared again. I'm like, I'm going in more trepidatiously. Chuck is scary to me at this point.
Yeah, well, that's good. You learned, right? You walked away with something in the Pokemon game so far. You know, maybe it's not super challenging to a certain extent, but you're learning valuable lessons.
I'm reading the room.
Yeah.
So he's got the 2 Pokemon. He throws out Primeape first.
Ooh, I love Primeape.
Yeah, cool design. So I have Weepinbell. I use Sleep Powder. Instant sleep. That's a good sign. Then I throw Acid 3 times and defeat Primeape.
Nice.
With relative ease. But here's the tricky situation. Chuck throws out Poliwrath, which is a water type, and is probably also fighting.
Yes, it is.
I believe Angarl said earlier that my Poliwag was water/fighting earlier.
It would evolve into a water fighting, and this is that water fighting.
I see. Oh man, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done the whole muscle thing, and I just evolved my. No, that's fine. I like muscle.
Yeah, because I mean, like, if you have muscle, I think if you want to have a specific type, it's always better to get a Pokemon that is just that type and not a split type. Like, it's like when I have a Slowpoke on my team. Slowpoke is Psychic and Water. In some gens, I think. But I don't love to rely on Slowpoke as a Water type unless I give it Surf. Like, Slowpoke in my head is just Psychic. Like, that's the right thing to use it for, you know? And I think at that level it comes down to the fact that, like, water attacks being special attack stat based or normal attack stat based, and that would also vary based on the species of the Pokemon. So, like, I think if you want to have a type advantage, it's always safer to go for a solo type of that. So if you wanted fighting, I think Muscle is the better choice over Poliwrath.
Yeah, I instantly now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm glad I have muscle. So that's good. But yeah, I still have my Weeping Bell out. Poliwrath comes out, ready to party. And I'm like, hey man, I have the grass advantage here. So I throw a sleep powder on him.
Excellent.
And I use acid. And then Chuck uses full heal. And I forgot that means like the status effects are null and void.
Yeah.
So I think I probably tried to throw out acid and forgot that Poliwrath wasn't asleep anymore. And I forget the move. I think I might write it down later, but he confuses Weeping Bell. And I'm like, oh no. That's always like, that really messes with me because I'm like, should I try to heal myself or like try to like get rid of this status? Should I keep going and hopefully it's not that bad? It's always a situation.
Yeah, if memory serves, I think the only way you can cure confusion with an item is if your Pokemon is holding a specific berry. I don't think there's a potion that will cure confusion.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there is. So it's always a situation. So I throw out Grappler, thinking like he's my tank, forgetting that water has a clear advantage over ground or rock.
Right.
And one hit Surf to Graveler, who has been my tank at this point. Opened my eyes to the destructive nature of certain types to certain other types.
Good reminder, because clearly you forgot.
Always a good reminder. So at this point, I'm like, all right, my Weeping Bell is confused. It's a situation. I throw out my Wooper. Of course, there's no type advantage here. They're both water. Wait, there is. Wooper is also ground. I'm just realizing that. Oh, man. That's why Poliwag one-hit surfs Wooper. Yikes.
Man.
So, yeah, like what you're saying, the two-type Pokemon can be good, but also definitely have some clear disadvantages.
Yeah, because especially if you're two types, you have double the weaknesses.
Exactly. Double the strengths, but double... What did Count Dooku say?
I was going to say twice the pride, double the fall. Is that what it was?
Exactly. That's exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. So I throw Jigglypuff because I'm like, I am out of options at this point. And I think I threw it out to heal like my Weeping Bell. And then Jigglypuff faints. Basically just throwing it out there to use some potions or probably water or lemonade at this point. Yeah, I used lemonade actually for Weeping Bell. And then Jigglypuff served his purpose. Appreciate you, Jigglypuff. Fallen Soldier. Moment of silence. Thank you. Then Weeping Bell comes back out. I fell asleep.
Oh man, dude, this is the ringer for you today. Oh my god.
It's an issue. So I give it an awakening. Happens again.
Oh man.
Give it an awakening. Happens again. And then so hypnosis is what's happening.
Yeah, honestly, I like hypnosis, the context of it in the show at least, because you know how Poliwrath has like the swirly stomach?
Yeah.
That's what hypnotizes you in the show. So like I thought that was always fun, but yeah, clearly not for you.
Not in this situation. Uses Surf, doesn't really do that much. And then keeps using Hypnosis, dude. Hypnosis, Surf. I can't even get a move in. And I think Weeping Bell is like my final member of the party at this point. That is like anything of consequence. But finally, I can throw out a Sleep Powder. I use Vine Whip twice, and I defeat Poliwrath.
Excellent.
Because I'm like, I have my grass type. You are asleep. I'm going to slaughter you. So that's what I did.
Jack, we missed a week, but the redemption arc for your botched Bellsprout is the greatest story to come out of this season so far.
I think so. I was going to say, I think this play session for me was the most rewarding so far. And I think I enjoyed myself more this play session than I have so far in Crystal. And I think largely that comes down to my shiny Weeping Bell, who is just... I think at this point is like close to a level 30, like pretty close, because I've been using him like exclusively. I went from like a level 6 or whatever it was all the way up, and he is really like doing some stuff for my party. Like he's coming through, he's coming to bat time and time again. He needs it raised. That's all I'm saying. But I get the Storm Badge, and this is up to level 70 Pokemon. And here we go. We didn't get it last time. We got it now. We got Fly.
Excellent.
Yes.
There you go.
We can fast travel. I give it to Spearow, who I have in my PC. Is there any like particular Pokemon maybe I should be giving it to? Or is it fine to just have like a Pokemon that just uses HMs and that's their sole purpose?
Yeah, I mean, Fly is similar to Dig, that it is good because if you use it, you can't get hit by most moves on the in-between. Because you're up in the sky.
Right.
Like Swift will still hit because Swift never misses.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you have a Pokemon that you like that is a bird or a dragon or something, and like it would make sense that it could fly. You know what? I think Gyarados could learn Fly.
Maybe.
So, yeah, it may be worth finding a Pokemon you like, and if not, then yeah, just take out Spearow when you need Spearow.
Yeah. I feel like that's like it's not a move I'll probably use all that much. Maybe I'll experiment, but it's more like a use. So like I'll always be near like a Pokemon Center, and I can take out Spearow. And at this point, I'm gonna want to fly back to my mom, who's been saving money for me,
True.
and just take that out and buy some revives and lemonades and fresh water and stuff like that.
Yeah, like when I was younger, I always gave Fly to Charizard because he was always on my team. And it's still a good move. Like it's still viable in the story battles, at least. So I think if there was a Pokemon that you wanted to have on that you knew would be there constantly and it can learn Fly, I don't think Fly is a wasted slot.
Cool. Good to know. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I have really enjoyed this current playthrough, particularly these two gyms, where like I've encountered like a lot of issues with them clearly, but came through it in one try, even with my Wooper at 3 health and Weepinbell just constantly falling asleep the whole time. Came through on top, and it was really fun. It was a great challenge, I thought. Great challenge.
I'm very glad. Surprisingly, on my end, like I feel like I haven't hit as many issues. Like you're using your Wooper a lot, which is water type, but my at this point Feraligatr, final form.
Wait, say that again.
Feraligatr.
Feraligatr.
Feral alligator. Feraligatr.
Feral alligator. Okay.
Has been pulling some heavy weights. You know, like I still am at the point where I'm mainly using my starter and my Heracross, and like the other team is just like rotating out on who's useful at the time. But yeah, I've definitely hit points, but man, it's much more satisfying hearing your like attempts and learning and like consuming the correct tactical options and choices you should make. Like I think for this generation as a follow-up, it's been, from my perspective at least, good to refine your skills from season 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to like take what I've learned from season 1 and like apply it here with like types and all that kind of stuff, and I feel like I'm doing a better job at that than I was in season 1, because I think there are a lot of points where I would encounter Pokemon and not know their types, and I still do to this point, but I'm getting better at like recognizing what they are and being able to send out certain party members that I know will have that advantage. So I think as a sequel, this season, like I've been somewhat more competent at like recognizing that and using that to my advantage.
Nice. And I guess my final question then, you spoke highly this week. Do you think this is like the point where for you the game feels more like the second generation of Pokemon?
It's hard to say, because I feel like it's still following a similar path to Gen 1, I forget who, and I apologize to the commenter. Someone in a previous comment, in a previous video of ours, commented saying that Game Freak was at a point, and I'm taking this just from their comment, so I could be wrong there, but Game Freak was at a point where they didn't know if they wanted to continue the Pokemon series. Maybe you can correct me here. So Gen 2 was more of like a not natural progression, but it was sort of like a slight increase and a slight progression, whereas like Gen 3 and onwards were more, they added more things, and they were more full-fledged sequels. And I haven't really gotten the impression that Gen 2 was this huge new sequel, to make a weird comparison to like Arkham Asylum to like Arkham City, where you see like the natural progression. I haven't really seen that yet.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, for me at least, that this feels like a 1.5 sequel, because again, it's on the same hardware, right? Like, there's only so much more you can do on the Game Boy,
right,
compared to what was packed into Red and Blue. But when we hit Game Boy Advance, that's true. Like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, it's like night and day. It's wildly different. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about Emerald, and I've said it before. Like some of my friends dearly love Emerald. So at some point, if we do Season 3, if we do Emerald, I would be excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah, in the cards. But I'm glad it's a lot better for you this week so far, because I know you've been enjoying it, but it seems like it's really like coming into its own of like, okay, now I'm really in this and I'm getting through it, you know?
Yeah, I've greatly enjoyed it, especially this past week.
Yeah, so this was 6 gyms now, right?
Yeah, it was 6. Yeah, we this was episode 5, but yeah, we doubled up this week just because of how the close proximity of the gyms, and like I feel like the game kind of wants you to. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like wants you to go through them like right there because they're essentially right next to each other. And like the game tells you to go to one gym before the gym you even like get to first, you know. So
yeah, and story wise, like there's normally like a Johnny battle or something, but like nothing this week. So
yeah, not a lot.
It felt natural, you know. So there's 2 gyms left. We will see how you fare there. We'll see how the story cranks out, and we'll see what you think of the final moments of this game in the coming weeks.
I'm expecting the long-awaited twist or long-awaited spoiler to pop up either next episode or the episode after. We'll find out. But before then, Christian, where can the fans follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Chris and Buckley. YouTube.com/JoyClicks is where you are if you're watching us live, or not live, but on video. We do a live premiere of this show, though, every Monday around 2:30 Eastern Time. So look forward to that if you want to hang out in the chat and watch the episode with each other and us. And for a fan art this week, I'm going to throw out there the Shiny Bellsprout.
Let's do it. That's a nice, easy one. It's positive. I'm all for it. Shiny. So yeah, for next week, viewers, if you would like to send in some fan art, which you can do to myfirstmon@gmail.com, you can send in your drawings of, or photoshops, or whatever you want to do, of Shiny Bellsprout, or Weepinbell, whatever you want. Or you could do anything else. We just use this as a guide. So if you don't have any ideas, you can use that. If you have something else that we did during this particular playthrough, which there was a lot of, 2 gyms, feel free to do whatever you want.
Yeah, what about you, Jack?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at FascinatedJack. I like what you said. We have Marvel's, the #1 Marvel's Avengers podcast, Excelsior. It's good to be back talking Marvel with you. That was sort of our roots through podcasting on JoyClicks. Yeah. So it's good to be sort of doing something similar. So yeah, you can follow us there. YouTube.com/JoyClicks. Very close to that 2,000 mark. Would love to have you all subscribe there. Increase those numbers. That'd be great. But yeah, been a great episode. Thanks for joining me, Christian.
Of course.
And until next time, we'll catch you later.